Hey everyone. Yeah, welcome to this the first monthly opinions of 2016. Uh, Today is January 2014, 2016. And I would have done my monthly opinions, my mid to late monthly opinions, whatever, um, beforehand. Unfortunately, due to the holiday season, as we all know, that was not to be. Apparently, the how do I put this? The Well, let's just put it this way. Any of us that get physical subscriptions, most of us didn't get it yet. Hopefully it'll be the end of this week or into next week. I'm gonna try to email them and let them know, hey, I didn't get my issue yet. What's going on? So, cause yeah, I've got to, I think, March or something like that. But anyway, getting on with this month, excuse me, getting on with the monthly opinions, the first ones of this year. And as you probably listened to my review, and I do apologize if it was long. Um, yeah, it looks like we got some new, like I mentioned before, on some of my on-screen videos and some of my audio videos and whatever. It looks like Ian Flynn, his wife Aaliyah Baker, and several other writers, creators are going in a different direction. Well, not a different direction, but sort of a new direction with the story. Basically, we're starting to see and discover sort of as Mega Beatman put it in his review, which ironically he just uploaded today or yesterday, no matter how you look at it. Just uploaded today. He mentioned that there's this gray area, and I talked about this, like I said in my other videos. Basically, we have met and will meet in story some other characters out there that basically feel that the only way to avoid a conflict, with Eggman to kind of ensure safety and peace in the regions or in on this planet, while in the condition that it's in right now, is to serve Eggman instead of fighting him. You want to serve him. Now, I like the fact that you have Nephis and her freedom fighter buddies, Sonar, Spike, and Trevor. Uh, I think that's the other one's name. Basically, I guess in a way, kind of pulling the rug under Eggman. Basically, excuse me, basically deceiving him, making him think like there's, an uprising and all that happening there. But in reality, all they're doing is trying to keep the people safe. Now, I do like that. I like that kind of story and character development there because it shows that not everybody really wants to. Not all the egg bosses or egg soldiers really want to work for Eggman. That instead they will do what they have to maintain peace. So I do like that little I like that little twist there. And and Clove and Cassie, I did like their character development here as well because, as I mentioned, I think in my review, I believe they could end up, and I think I even mentioned this maybe in future Sonic Universe arcs that they can do. I don't know if I did. I have to go back and look at that. But I do. But if I didn't, I'm going to stand firmly by it right now that I do believe Cassie and Clove deserve to get their own Sonic Universe arc. Maybe something that builds, maybe an arc that you build towards that leads to them defecting from the Empire, from the Eggman Empire. I think that would be definitely be worth people, reading, because a lot of people have said that the Hidden Cost three-part arc or three-part story was really good. It definitely has good character development. So I would definitely support them getting a Sonic Universe arc, or building one, or building towards one, with them defecting from Eggman's empire and maybe go off on their own and try to start a resistance, or actually join the Freedom Fighters and kind of showcase to the other egg bosses that might be in similar situations that, hey, this guy's just full of hot air. The real, basically reveal to them that, look, Eggman is nothing more than a liar. He's not true to what he says. And you know what? He's just saying certain things. He's just using certain things against you because he doesn't want, because he's afraid of the fact that if he doesn't have an army behind him or a huge empire behind him, he's going to fail. So, I think it's definitely, again, I definitely think Cassie and Clove deserve their own story arc in Sonic Universe, in the Sonic Universe book down the line. And hopefully we build towards that as we get close to it. Um, as far as the Tails doll goes, I know not a lot of people, and Mega Beatman, I know you're one of them. Not a lot of people are too thrilled with the Tails doll showing back up, and I think it's gonna. I look at it this way. I look at the fact that, going back to Cassie and Clove, and mostly Clove, I think she's gonna find a way to tip the Freedom Fighters off about this. I think in repayment, maybe, because I think she's gonna find out that Bunny did help her sister, but in repayment for Bunny helping her sister, and I guess in a sense helping her in a way see the light, kind of see the truth behind Eggman. That again, just my opinion. I think she or someone is going to tip the Freedom Fighters off about the Tails doll down the line. I really do. And I know a lot of people, and I know Make a Beatman's thinking, it's going to probably play a major role in an upcoming issue or story, and it might, but I don't think it's going to be that much of a threat. I mean, here's what I see. Here's what I see. I mean, if it does play a major role in the story arc, if you will, if it does play a major role, um, I see it playing a major role to the point that, as the freedom fighters have everything they need to save the world, that's when it's going to really activate. Hopefully, not go monstrous, but go into something that's going to maybe, how do I think, affect Sky Patrol to the point that it's going to stun everyone except for Nicole and maybe Cream. It's going to stun everybody into unconsciousness. Like how, like in some stories and shows, they have a situation in the plot where there's like an electrical surge that basically knocks everybody out. I believe it might do that if they decide to use it as a focal point towards the end of this Shadowed Worlds Unleashed arc. I think it's going to become I think that's probably going to be one of its focal points, so that it could try to sneak away the emeralds and the Gaia keys to Eggman. But in a sense, I think it's just there to, be a plot device maybe, but not a big one. Like I said, I think the only, threat it might have, in my opinion, is in a future stories it might do an electrical surge on Sky Patrol that knocks everybody except for maybe Nicole and Cream out, and it's going to be Nicole and Cream that prevent it from getting the emeralds and the Gaia keys, and preventing it from taking that information, taking the things to Eggman. So I think that'll be the I think that's how, as far as Ian Flynn will go with that, maybe. I mean, I'm not saying he's not going to rehash what he attempted to do at the end of 247 and so much into 252. I'm not saying he's not going to attempt that, but I think it'd be better. I think it's a better solution that he just, in my opinion, just does what I think, just goes in this direction, and makes it a threat, but doesn't make it as much of a threat as it's being presented out to be. And again, I still stick by what I feel in my what I feel in my opinion is another option, and that's having Clove secretly contact the freedom fighters and tip them off about what's going on, tip them off about the Tails doll, have them find the Tails doll and dispose of it once and for all. So, I mean, I could see Ian Flynn even writing a line in for Sonic or somebody or one of the characters going like, "How many of these things does Eggman have?" You know, or you could have Tails go like, "Why does he have to use my design for such a hideous thing?" Or something. So yeah, I mean, I think that would be a decent option there. Sort of Clove's own secret way of getting back at Eggman for lying to her, for deceiving her and her sister. I could see that. So those are just two options, two ways I think they can go with the Tails doll, leading into the finale, leading into the conclusion or the later parts of the Shattered Worlds arc down the line. Now, like I said, I definitely now, like I said in an earlier video, I definitely believe that characters like Sally and Bunny and all of them are going to get their own universe story arcs real soon. Again, you can go back and look at that video, but I truly believe they got to get these. I mean, everything I've said in that video, I truly believe they got to go in those directions with the characters. Because Ian Flynn even said in a Bumblecast episode that he wants to, after the Shadow Worlds arc is done, then he wants to explore the other characters. He wants to look into them more, and I think giving them Sonic Universe arcs is going to really help out. So yeah, but that's what I believe. I believe is needs to happen with that. And as far as the Eggman Dozen arc goes, to me, this is going to be like the starting point to several of the egg bosses that don't really want to be there serving Eggman, turning against him and being like, why should we help you? You, why should we help you? All you all really, without all this technology, is just an egomaniac that thinks he's better than everybody else. Why should we help you? So I think I'm not going to say it's going to be I'm not saying they're going to leave, but I think it's going to be the beginning of the start of something to where egg bosses like Clove and Cassie and Nephesis and maybe several others leaving Eggman and the Empire and defecting maybe to the Freedom Fighters, or just defecting and going off on their own and saying, you know what, this thing's between you guys. We're leaving. We don't want no part of it. So I could see that. I could see the start of that. I could see the start of the beginning of that, or the beginning of the start of that in Eggman's Dozen. I can see that. Actually, I can see that most definitely. Now, again, those are just my opinions of what I feel is going to happen in the comic real soon. Now, there is information coming out that later this year we're going to get more Sonic Sonic Digest and all that. Some of the arcs that we saw in this past year, if not the year before, will be released as graphic novels throughout this year. So look forward to them. I can't think of which ones they are right now, but I think one of them is the I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, Spark of Life. I think is getting one that comes out later this year. Several, and there are several others as well. So, like I said, keep an eye out for those. Check out Amazon. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, another big thing I want to talk about as well is Bumble King. And of course, we know that Ian Flynn has said we're supposed to get episode or chapter 2 of the Lost Hedgehog Tales. We have yet to get that. All we have is chapter 1. And I understand, just looking at the website, that Ian's a very busy man. So maybe he hasn't had time, especially with the holidays and all that. But hopefully we'll get Lost Hedgehog Tales chapter 2 real soon. If not, then maybe something else came up, maybe legal matters. I don't know. I mean, let's not forget, Ken Penders did come out with a tweet saying that Ian Flynn has no idea what he's getting himself into. So we'll just have to wait and see what that means. But hopefully, it doesn't mean anything bad. It doesn't mean anything wrong. Um, Again, we'll just have to wait and see what occurs. But if what Ken Penders is said about Ian Flynn there, about he not knowing what he's getting himself into, hopefully that didn't affect Lost Hedgehog Tales at all. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, we'll get another chapter real soon, or a second chapter real soon. I mean, if I'm Ian Flynn, honestly, I give in Repentance, I give chapter one, I give us chapter 2 and 3 to pay off for what's going on. So hopefully we'll get chapter 2 and maybe even chapter 3 with very soon. I mean, again, I know he's a busy man. I know the holidays kind of push things back, but hopefully we'll get these next chapters. I mean, I'm praying and hoping Archie Comics didn't find out about this and have prevent him from doing it, and or even Sega. But hopefully that's not the case because this is basically fan fiction, if you will. So it has nothing to do with them. This is fan fiction. So hopefully that it's not the case. Speaking of fan fiction, speaking of the Archie Sonic comic, there's a group of fans. Just to let you guys know, there's a group of fans that I think, if I look it up here on Facebook, there's a group of fans that excuse me. Hold on. Like I said, there's a group of fans that, because this was something I'm pretty sure was talked about at several Sonic sites. Hold on for a sec. Here it is. It's called Mobius Legends, and what this is an online, excuse me, an online continuation. But basically, what Mobius Legends is an online continuation of what Ian Flynn originally planned to do with the comic. That's what it is. It's an original continuation. It's basically a continuation of what Ian Flynn planned to do with the comic originally. Basically, Mobius Legends is Lost Hedgehog Tales come to life in comic form. And you can find it, if I can click on this real quickly. You can find this at Sonic. Oh, hold on. You can find this at Sonic Mobius.tumblr.com. That's Sonic-Mobius.tumblr.com. You can find this. And they have basically what's dubbed as the first short issue. It says, according to this, they already have the first short issue out as a taste of what's to come, and it can be found, like I said, at the website I just talked about. And basically what it is from the Zone Cop perspective of things, you have the no zone, basically the Zone Cop version of Sonic, Sally, Opachow, Opacho, or whatever that other Chow is, that robot Chow is. Looking into what's going on, looking at what's happening to the world, because of the post Worlds Collide situation with Eggman and Sonic. So you're kind of getting a perspective of what's going there. And what's funny is the Prime World, which in the official comic has been softly rebooted and retconned, is still stable. Basically, this comic is supposed to take place after that of what Ian Flynn, I'm guessing, originally had planned. And they might go off and do their own stuff as well. I'm not really sure. But I read it. I thought it was good. So I definitely suggest checking it out at sonic-mobius.tumblr.com. So, check it out there. I think you'll really get a kick out of it. And again, this is the same thing like what Ian Flynn's doing. This is basically in conjunction from a fan's perspective of Ian Flynn's of his work, basically uh, trying to tie things together, give us a perspective of what originally was supposed to happen in the comics. So definitely check that out. I think you'll get a kick out of it, and you might find some fun in it real quickly. So you might find some fun in it, and hopefully, with more chapters coming out down the line from Ian on Lost Hedgehog Tales, we might get more added to it. And again, they might just do their own thing to kind of give their own conclusion or idea of what was supposed to happen. So I suggest you check that out and everything. And speaking of, again, Ian Flynn and Bumble King, of course, as probably some of you know or you don't know, the Bumble King forums are closing down. Yeah, the Bumble King forums are closing down. Basically, Ian Flynn, I guess, cites time and stuff, and that after so long of being on the internet, online, that it's it's time to shut down shop. It's basically time to shut down shop on the Bumble King forums. Now, sorry, my finger hit the mic. Now, for anybody that likes the Bumble King forums, uh, I do kind of feel a little bit of your pain. It's one of those rare websites or message boards that you can go to and actually not just interact with other fans, but interact with Ian himself at times as well, because he would do Q&As there, and like I said, he would do Q&As and questions and answers, interact with the fans when they would talk about certain issues with the spoilers or what's to come. Now, this is what Ian Flynn says about it, and um, let me see here. This is what Ian Flynn says, and I quote. This was back on January 3rd. He says, "It's a new year, and with it comes change. The Bumble King forums have been plugging along for 10 years, and I believe they've run their course. When I started the forums, they were meant to be my place to interact with my readers about my work. At the start, it worked like a charm, but as time went on and online inactivity, in online interactive evolved, the formed format showed its limitations." And that was online interactivity. Okay, evolved. The format showed its limitations. Today, there are many more and better avenues. There's the regular updates to the main page. There's the bi-weekly podcast, Bumblecast. There's my Twitter account at Ian Flynn BKC, and the Facebook channel. He says, "My focus is now on spreading my creative rings, finding new work and starting new projects. Maintaining the forums has become a second job I can't properly attend to anymore." This isn't a snap decision either. It's been one I've been thinking hard about for the past couple of years. I want to thank all the users over the years who made this place so much fun and creatively challenged. I want to thank you for the kind words, both posted publicly and shared in private. I want to extend an especially heartfelt thank you to LBD Nitrin, Dub, and Couragely for all the hard work in monitoring the forum, covering for me and each other when we had to be away, and for helping me make the right decisions in administrating the forums. I also want to thank JC Freak and Toby for their help as well. I'm not going to yank the rug out from all of you. He says I'm not okay. He says I'm not going to yank the rug out from all of you. Though. Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase that. Let me re-say that. He says I'm not going to yank the rug out of I'm not going to yank the rug out from under you all though. I'm giving everyone time to exchange contact information, save your favorite post, and get one more word in edgewise. The timetable the timetable for the forum shutdown is as follows. January, which is now, forums remain active, no new accounts will be opened, no name or title changes. February 7th, forums are closed, no new repost. The forums will remain open for archival purposes. Now, originally he had planned for June 30th of this year for the forums and their many buggy conflicting database would be erased from the server. In other words, originally at the end of June of this year, he was going to shut them down completely. They were going to be gone. But instead, he's keeping them open, as he said, after February 7th for archival purposes. And there is many forums out there, message boards out there of franchises and stuff that do the same thing. So he says he and Kyle will be doing a BK exclusive Q&A fest on the Bumblecast. He says you can submit your questions for the show here, and I'll get to that in a minute. And that topic is right here. He says that this is a forum closing Q&A fest. He says that on the 25th, in the next 11 days, they'll be doing an exclusive Q&A episode of the Bumblecast. And basically he says that you posted a thread that he has at the forums, limited to one question, and that if you ask more, they will skip you. If you ask a bunch and say pick one, they will skip you. If they post twice, ignore my first post, they will skip you. Or something like that. And he does suggest to edit your post if you think of something better. And they do have some very interesting questions. So I'll say this, I don't I don't usually plug a podcast, but I would definitely say tune into the January 25th edition of the podcast, of the Bumblecast to check it out. But overall, as a lot of you know, I've had my history with the message board and with Ian. You know, and like I said, I've had my issues with Ian at times with the message board. I mean, I've been a member off and on, tried to stay on there, and it's not that I didn't want to cause any trouble. It's more along the lines that I just want to interact, kind of give my ideas and stuff, kind of talk about things. And I think, honestly, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, seeing as though this is my monthly opinions and it is going over a half hour, I do apologize, that I think, honestly, Ian, I think, kind of got annoyed with the fact that as I was interacting and stuff with other people, that I don't think it was just the fact that I was posting videos or things like that. I think it's also, in my opinion, that I was kind of getting a little too close to, revealing what was to come even before the issue came out or even before the story arc would happen. And I think the reason for that is because being a longtime fan and reading issue after issue after issue, getting to know the stories, getting to know the characters, I think, in my opinion, it just became so predictable that even when Ian Flynn took over, it became a little too easy because basically Ian was a fan himself coming in doing these stories. So I guess in a sense it became a little too predictable to guess, oh, this is what's happening next, and I bet you that will happen, and keep your eyes on that. And I think that might have gotten on his nerves, and I do apologize. I do apologize. It's not that I didn't want to cause any trouble. It's just, to me, it was more along the lines of I was just trying to interact, and I do apologize for any problems I caused. But the thing is, I wasn't trying to cause any trouble. I was just trying to interact and everything. And maybe I was doing it in my own way that I thought would be okay. Because there are some people, believe it or not, you go to the Sega forums, there are some people that like it there. Sonic Stadium, on the other hand, they did like it at first, but then they're like, forget this, you need to put it to one area. So, yeah, I got to work on getting back over to that site too. Hopefully, they'll let me back in down the line. But anyway, I was just trying to interact, trying to help, and again, I kind of understand, where you were coming from, Ian, and everything. So I do apologize with that. But again, like I said, folks, I think it's because I got a little too close. Maybe I figured out, what was going to happen next, and I think Ian didn't want that to happen. So I do apologize for that. But anyway, as far as the Bumble King forums closing, as far as them closing, it is kind of sad because we're losing one outlet to the forums. I mean, to one of the bigger, I guess you could say bigger, if not more interactive, um, message boards out there for the fan base. Because now a lot of people are looking at, oh well, now we got to go with the Sega forums at the cartoon comic section there, Sonic Stadium, uh, Saturday Morning Sonic.com and their forums, and SatAMSonic.com, Fans United for SatAM and their forums. And those are great outlets. I'm a member of a lot of them. So you'll still have your areas to go to and interact. You even have and as I talked about in one video, in a recommendation video, you'll have the Sonic Scan F message board as well. The only problem is you may have to wait a little bit to get your registration going so you could take part in that. And of course, you have the Facebook pages and stuff. So we'll just have to see what happens there. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to probably. I looked at some of the questions. I didn't read them all. I didn't read them at all. Actually, I just looked and scanned. I'm pretty sure a lot of fans are going to probably ask, if he could find a way to keep it open, maybe give it to somebody else to keep it open, and still let them be active, use it, as that outlet. And maybe he might do that. Maybe come January 25th, he might announce that, maybe they'll stay open, and maybe this is going to be the new person in charge, or the new people in charge, and everything. So, I mean, I would do that. I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, if George Lucas, whether he likes what's going on with Star Wars right now or not under Disney and J.J. Abrams, if he's willing to pass the torch to them and say, "This is your baby. This was my baby, but now it's yours. Take care of it. Take care of it. Do what you have to." If I'm Ian Flynn, I do the same thing with the Bumble King forums. I look at someone like LBD or Kyle Jean or whoever that was a moderator, and I say, "You want to take over? You want to take charge of this? Keep it open, let the fans still post and everything. Let new people register and all that. You want to take control? Here you go." That's what I would do. If fans want the Bumble King forums to remain open, that's what I would do, honestly. in my opinion. You know, but I can again, I can see why he's doing this. I mean, like I said, earlier, he's got a lot going on. He's working on several other titles besides Sonic. He's working on, well, he's not working on Mega Man as we speak, but he's working on Sonic Universe at times, which is now being divided up with his wife doing some of the work and Tracy Yardlin and others. But he's doing work with that sometimes. He's working with IDW on the Ninja Turtles Adventures on the Ninja Turtles animated adventure comic. Oh, the comic book basically based on the Nickelodeon series. He's working on that. He's working on Crusader. I think New Crusaders. I think he's dabbing in a little bit of Archie. So he's spread out a little bit, and he's got his own personal projects as well, which includes Lost Hitchcock Tales, which I hope we get a continuation of real soon. Um, so we'll just have to see what happens. But if I'm Ian Flynn, that's what I would do. Just my opinion. If he wants to keep it up for archival purposes, that's fine. Like I said, there's a lot of message boards that do that. So, maybe it won't be a total waste. It won't be a total downfall as far as the comic, as far as the Bumble King forms go. And maybe someone might just find a way to reactivate it. Maybe they'll go to Ian and say, look, let me take over. Let me reactivate it. And again, either that or have him at least pass it on to someone he knows he can trust to keep it open and keep it active. So, but we'll just have to wait and see. But there are other outlets out there, like I said, the Sega forums in the cartoons comic section there, the SaturdayMSonic.com and their message board, SaturdayMorningSonic.com and Sonic Stadium and several others, including Facebook and Twitter. So that's what I'm thinking. And in my personal opinion, I also think maybe, my personal opinion, I also think maybe that he's doing this as well because his forums were always the first place people would go to find out what happened in the latest issue if they didn't have it yet and they wanted to be spoiled. Again, like I said, they wanted to be spoiled and everything. I think that's where he wanted to go, and a lot of people would go right to him because that would be the first place to go. And now that's not going to be an option. And maybe in my opinion, because this is my monthly opinion, it's the first one of 2016. Maybe he just felt like it was just a little too much. Maybe it was too much for people, or well, not too much, but maybe he felt like people were giving away too much. They would go to other message boards and say, "Hey, click here or here. This is what we copied and pasted from his message board. This is what's going on." Maybe Ian Flynn, in his personal opinion, maybe he didn't like that. Maybe he didn't like people giving away the spoil. I know that's crazy to say because he would create the spoilers and discussion uh, topic in the side of Mobius thread section. I can understand that might be crazy for me to say, but to me, that's what it sounds like. Honestly, that's what it sounds like. Like he doesn't want many people to know what's going to happen at other forums. Like if they don't want to be part of it, or like me, they can't really, come on board with it. You know, like I said, they really can't come on board, can't register or anything. Maybe he doesn't want them to know. Maybe he wants them to figure it out themselves. Or guess make it a surprise. Because nowadays we're in a PC world that somewhat you look at wrestling, for example. You look at okay, wrestling, for example, or movies or whatever, and people will come online and they will spoil what happened. You know, when Star Wars: The Force Awakens Episode 7 came out, the one thing a lot of people said out there, the one thing people wanted to make sure didn't happen was for someone to come out and spoil the movie. And unfortunately, that fell on deaf ears because apparently As soon as the movie came out, whether it was at a world premiere or regular release, someone, one of some of the first few people out there decided to spoil it just because they wanted to. They decided to spoil it just because they wanted to, and because of that, they ended up getting threats and all that from diehard Star Wars fans because they spoiled something that they didn't want spoiled. And I'm guessing, my opinion, that's what Ian Flynn is doing here. Maybe that's one of the reasons he wants to close this down, not just because he can't keep up with it anymore, because he's doing all these other projects, which I can understand, but I think it's also the fact that he looks at the spoilers discussions thread that he always creates for every issue that comes out, and then sees that it's getting sent maybe or linked to or copied and pasted and put on other sites for people that may not be able to go to his forums, may not be able to register or even want to bother going there because they want to, have an equal basis or something. I don't know, at other message boards, and maybe he doesn't want them to be spoiled. I'm not really sure. Again, that's just my opinion. I know it might sound crazy, so so again, that's just my opinion, but I think that might be one of the reasons. Not a major reason, but one of the small reasons. But again, if I'm Ian Flynn, my honest opinion is if I know fans want this Bumble King form to keep going, I give it to somebody else that I know I could trust to keep it active and keep things stabilized and monitored and not have so much on their table. So I know I spent a long time talking about that, but like I said, it is kind of sad that it's closed, or it is closing officially come February. But hopefully again by then, or even before then, maybe he'll change his mind and maybe he'll pass it on to somebody else. We'll have to wait and see. Um, as far as Sonic's 25th anniversary goes, I guess we're supposed to get a game this year or maybe into next year. We don't really know what the game is yet. I know a lot of people are hoping for a Sonic Adventure 3. That might happen. I know some people might be thinking, well, will we get a sequel to Sonic Generations? That might happen too. I don't really know. Um, I would hope we would get something in between. Well, not in between, but I hope we get something that's really going to be good. I know some people are thinking, please don't be another Sonic Boom game, and I don't really know. It could be any kind of game. It could be any. I know a lot of people, like myself included, will hope that the next one involves certain Freedom Fighter characters, and that might be nice to have. I mean, the one thing we do know, the one rumor we do know that's kind of strong is it's supposed to be multi-platform. So we'll have to see if it's a multi-platform or if it's going to be a Wii U deal. But if it's a 25th anniversary game, it's got to be multi-platform. So hopefully that'll be something we can look into. And I do know, in the next possible few months, I don't know, I got to look at the release date. In the next months going into the summer, we will get the next Olympic game with Sonic and Mario. So that'll be nice to see. As far as the movie, apparently someone tweeted, one of the people behind, the person behind the movie from Sony Pictures, and it's still in the works. The movie is still in the works. It's not dead. It's still in the works. I think maybe this past year they just used this year to focus on other projects, but also kind of dabble in what they're going to plan to do with the movie. And I've got a feeling, just a feeling, that we're going to get something. We're going to get more information as we get into the more official timeline this year of Sonic's 25th anniversary. I would be surprised if at E3 or San Diego Comic-Con this year if we did not get a teaser trailer of the movie. And you know what? Something tells me we might get something from this movie that we've been wanting for a long time. So, just just wait for that. But just wait out, just hold out on that. But I got a feeling we might get something from this movie that we've been wanting to get for a long time. And I'll say, hopefully, I'll put it this way: I've got a feeling it's going to involve certain freedom fighters. I just get this feeling. So I could be wrong, but we'll just have to wait and see. But apparently, it's still in the works. I'm guessing they used this past year, 2015, to kind of focus on the other projects, but also dabble a little bit on the Sonic one as well. So hopefully by this year, like I said, by E3 in San Diego, we should get some kind of teaser or something like that of the movie. Hopefully. As far as Sonic Boom goes, I haven't watched the episodes lately. Have to try to look into those. But I still believe down the line they're going to get what's known as the lustful milk gag in it. And what the lustful milk gag is, just in case you don't know, is a visual metaphor of a girl, of a female character, maybe a male, but mostly according to TV tropes, a female character being so amorous with somebody else, mostly a male character, that they melt into a puddle of goo. And I would not be surprised if perhaps we get the lustful milk gag in these new crop of episodes down the line. So for Sonic Boom. So hopefully that'll happen. But I don't really know. And maybe they might switch things up with Sonic Boom this year. Maybe they'll switch it up to where it's one full 22-minute episode. It's not split into two parts. It's just like one full adventure. So we'll have to wait and see. But honestly, that's just my opinions for the month of January. My first monthly opinions of 2016. Sorry was over 45 minutes. I do apologize for that. But I guess if I want to start out the new year, got to start it out with a bang. You know what I'm saying? But let me know what you guys would think about what I had to say here. Take your time in listening. I know it's a long one, and again, I do apologize for it being over 45 minutes. But let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. Let me know about what you think is going to happen with the comics and what I've talked about there. Let me know what your thoughts are on the whole Bumble King forums closing, and what your thoughts are about the movie, about the possible game, and about Sonic Boom and the possible lustful milk egg being thrown in there probably down the line. But let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. Video responses, audio responses are greatly appreciated. Um, and that's all I'm going to really say. And for those of you that are wondering, why you comment and everything, but can't be seen, what do you think people do to you when you make bad comments? I'm just saying. But again, for anybody with good responses and everything, and good responses, fair responses, you know, let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like.